And we're live. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
No worries.
The Humble Abode is fucking beautiful place.
Beautiful place. Beautiful place. So I guess for those that don't know you, could you take us back and just give us a bit of a brief intro on sort of who you are and what you do before we go in detail?
Yep, so I'm Dale. I do OnlyFans. I'm pretty successful on there.
Interesting.
How long have you been in that sort of industry?
Now about 2.5 years in OnlyFans, but I first started filming in 2013, so 10 years ago I did my first film.
Yeah.
But I started as a topless waiter in 2011, so technically I've been in the sex industry now for
12 years.
12 years, yeah.
Yeah, right.
True.
What, do you want to give us a bit of background on your family, how you brought up? Did you finish school?
Yep, okay. Family, pretty kind of normal family life, I guess. You know, my mum's partner would work full time on the excavators, 12-hour days. They'd own a house, they'd renovate the house, they'd work just to renovate it.
Yeah.
I'd just go to school, finish school, go on the bike jumps, standard. But I got depression pretty young. I couldn't concentrate in school. Got bullied in school a little bit, and I actually left school when I was 14.
Yeah, wow.
What grade is that?
Year eight was my completed year level.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, wow.
That is young.
That is very young.
What once you sort of left school, what was the path like for you after that?
So when I left school, I was also just becoming a typical stoner, as most of us go through.
Yeah.
My first job was at Hungry Jack's, getting paid $4.95 an hour.
$4.95.
Yeah. That
Big
was great.
bucks.
And
You can get a lot with that money.
and look, like you'd think Hungry Jack's would be easy work, but at 14, I thought it was hard work. Eh?
I used to do the same things. I used to do opens at Hungry Jack's.
Oh,
5 a.m. till 9 was my shift every day. It was brutal.
Yeah, man, I couldn't even use the can opener. They had a can opener that was 50 years old, and I couldn't open it. I couldn't use it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And so dropped out of school, Hungry Jack's, and then sort of where did life take you from there? So was this all on the Gold Coast, or are you from
Tweed Heads.
Tweed Heads?
Yeah.
Nice.
So lots of dead end jobs. I tried to do like a butchery apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Again, failed. I just had no work ethic when I was younger.
Yeah.
Didn't even want to work.
Yeah.
I just had nothing, and so a few dead end jobs, and just wanted to get off my face, and then introduced to drugs pretty young, and then went down that path, and then started doing crime, and then I get my first ounce of weed, and then double my money off that. And I think, oh shit, it's easy money than trying to be a butcher.
Hungry Jack's, or
or Hungry Jack's,
$5 an hour. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then things just slowly spiral out of control and get worse and worse.
Yeah. And so while you were sort of going on that path, could you recognise at the time things were getting worse and worse, or is that something you can now that sort of you're at the other end, well and truly, you can look back? At the time, did you sort of know that was happening, or you just sort of got stuck in it?
No, so mentally I knew things were getting worse.
Yeah.
I thought, selling drugs was cool. I thought I was a cool guy doing that. But mentally, my depression and drug use, I knew that was getting that was getting out of control. Yeah, it was bad. I remember one night I think I was 17, and I was at a friend's birthday, and I flipped out, and it was off my face, and everyone hid inside and closed the doors, and police got called.
Oh,
and
really?
The next day my mate messaged me. He's like, "Oh, I'm so disappointed with you." He goes, "You need to get help." And I was like, "Fuck." That was
It's a bit of a wake up call for you.
one of my many wake up calls.
Yeah. Well, were you like a bigger, everyone was inside, were you like a bigger kid, or?
No. So at that age, I was a skinny, ringing wet rake. Yeah.
Wow. So I still have hope.
Yeah. Very skinny. I didn't start training until I was 21. So.
Yeah. Wow. And how old are you now?
32.
Yeah. Wow.
Had to think about that one.
Yeah.
I figured as well. Just sort of blends
Seriously, doesn't it?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So when when was your first big fuck up where it cost you?
Well, it was definitely going to jail. So just, ended up doing a home evasion, which just ended up being, just everything that could go wrong went wrong. So then in jail 4.5 years, went in at 2015, come out at 2020. So missed half my 20s.
Yeah, wow.
Got out when I was 30. And then, life kind of began when I got out.
Yeah, right. And I think I hear a lot of people that have sort of been to jail and they come out and I guess reinvent themselves. When you were inside, were you kind of planning like for the future? As in, obviously you didn't really have a whole lot set for you before. What's the word? Your time away, did you make the most of it and plan for your future, I guess?
To begin with, no. For the first couple of years in there, I just wanted to make connections, and I was like, nah, fuck it. You know, I'm in jail. I'm gonna be a bad man now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. But that, you know, you kind of fight those kind of thoughts in your head the whole time. And then the second time I landed in segregation, I thought, fuck, I've got to wake up to myself here. I'm in Segro for the second time now. I just got caught red-handed with a mobile phone. I got a criminal conviction for having that. So I got a conviction for having a mobile phone inside the correctional centre. And I thought, no, I need to make some change. So I started writing down where I went wrong in life, where I want to go right in life, why I didn't like myself before, who I want to be. And slowly just started writing things down that I possibly could do when I got out.
Do you still like journal like that today, or?
I don't know. I do a lot of self-talk and I reflect in there every single day, but I just don't write things down anymore.
No, that's a cool sort of thing to take though.
Yeah, super interesting. I've heard that a lot of, you can either go sort of one of two ways when you're in it. So I've heard a lot of stories about people go in with like a lot of bad people, and then obviously if that was your kind beforehand, you go and you're surrounded by those people, you can sort of get trapped in there.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you definitely can. And, you know, there's a lot of ego in there and everyone's like, oh, you know, I'm a better fighter, or I sell the most drugs, or I make more money, you know. And then you get in these fucking little trap arguments talking about that bullshit. And then people are saying, yeah, when we get out, you know, come see me, I'll give you this price. And you're thinking, okay, well, that could be good.
Yeah.
And it's just a big trap in there. It's actually not very good.
Yeah. And so towards the back end, you obviously started all the journaling and things like that. Once you're out, what was that sort of like? Was there obviously with that on your name, it's quite hard to do certain things. Once you're out, sort of what did that process look like?
Yeah, so when I got out, I felt a lot of pressure. So I'm 30 years old when I get out. I've got no money, I've got no furniture, I've got no car. I'm thinking, fuck, what the fuck am I going to do?
It's rock bottom.
Yeah, just embarrassed. And so I ended up doing a couple of things that I shouldn't have done for a little while. But then I woke up to myself and I said, no, don't be a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And
just made that mistake.
So I cut that out, and then I had a real conversation with myself, and I thought, okay, I have no trade, I have no qualification, I've got no education. What am I good at? Where have my experiences lied in life? Where, say, my passions, or et cetera, and I came to the conclusion that OnlyFans was going to be a good go for me.
And when you were getting into that, obviously it's super trending now. Were you, I don't know,
it would have been pretty
early on in that sort of...
Yeah, it wasn't as trendy as such when I started. It was definitely on the way, but there was a fair few people doing it when I started, but it wasn't as popular as it is today.
Yeah. And did you have any sort of like, that was the thing you chose, did you have any sort of like hesitation or anything once you sort of decide, okay, this is what I like, this is what I want to do? Or they were like...
1,000%. So when I started, I made a fresh Instagram account. I put on private, didn't tell anyone what I was doing. I was even hanging out with a girl, didn't even want to tell her. Because I just didn't want to.
It's a tough one.
And in my head I thought, until I can pay my rent each week, I'm not going public with this. I need to be able to pay my rent each week and be on a upward progression, and then I'll be comfortable to come out and say, this is what I'm doing, accept it, don't accept it, but this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Did you think ego affected you getting into industry? Did it make it hard? Coming out of jail, it's pretty high egos and stuff in there.
Yeah, look, it's going from jail and that kind of lifestyle to doing OnlyFans, it's a massive
switch up.
And there's definitely a bit of judgment, I guess you could say, from that side of the line. You know?
How did you sort of battle that? Obviously, like, I think the fear of judgment and the anxiety behind like getting judged by like parents and friends stops a lot of people, not even just with that, just with like day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
You know, wanting to not go to uni and pursue this, or wanting to, you know, go down a certain road. How did you sort of navigate that? Like obviously the fear of, you know, whether parents or friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of tips or advice on sort of how you manage those thoughts?
Lots of self-talk. At the end of the day, I had to think, you know, I'm doing this for me, not for anyone else. And I already had a very solid group of friends. I didn't need any new friends. Not that close to my family, so I don't care what they think.
Yeah.
So I just had to think, like, as long as I've got my immediate people around me who respect my choices and, you know, just respect me as a person, then I don't care about what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
And I've just got to do it for me, because I'm the one who fucked my life up. So now it's, you know, it was time, and it still is time to fix my life and actually do something with it.
Yeah, I wanted to make that change.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's epic. Did you have any sort of people that sort of did give you, I guess not backlash, but did you have
A bit of slack.
Yeah, any slack or anything like that, or you just had a real good circle?
Yeah, like in my immediate group of friends, they're absolutely great. Support 100%. But like I heard different comments that people have made about me, you know, like a few comments from girls or a few comments from like, you know, jail boys and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I feel like you get that regardless. Like even if
you do, yeah.
Like even me, like I'm a, you know, own a sort of media company. I post about like a lot about how I work so much and things like that, and even I get that sort of stuff. It sort of doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter
as
what
soon as
industry
you
you're
start.
in. You're still going to get hate. Whatever
whatever you're doing, you're going to get something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of tips you have with about dealing with some of the negative shit?
Well, I get, especially on TikTok, I get a lot of like hate and negative comments.
Yeah.
I just say shit like, "Oh, thank you, cutie," or
just take the piss out of it.
Or I just agree with them. I'm like, you know what, you're absolutely fucking right. You know, I
just shuts it down.
Yeah, I just I just put the brick wall up. I don't care. It doesn't affect.
Yeah, you're still getting paid.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. And so, what is life sort of now and sort of into the future? Obviously, so your story, you know, did some bad things, went to some bad places. You built this sort of, you know, you're in this real nice house now. Obviously, what sort of do you sort of have much of a plan for the future and sort of how you go about like the next sort of step?
So right now I'm just still trying to try new marketing strategies with my OnlyFans, which I'm constantly always doing. The amount of money I put into research development is just stupid.
Important though.
It's super important.
Yeah,
that's one thing that like people wouldn't understand is like we spoke about before. We know how much effort you put into your marketing and how much time. Yeah, it'd be cool to share some of that stuff.
Well, even just for example, so far this financial year, I've already put 200,000 back into my business.
Oh, that's it.
Wow. You know, that's OnlyFans business. You know, and a lot of that is just research and development. And does most of it work? No, but I'm trying.
You got to find stuff. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people would think it's just like, oh, you just take sort of a photo, film a video, post it up, and you just make bank. But obviously, there's a lot more to it, especially if you want to scale it.
Yeah.
Is there much like time you put into like planning your videos?
Yeah, only the bigger videos. Generally, it's pretty easy to do a video. Like a collab might come over and you know I'll ask them what they're comfortable with, what their fans in the website are asking them for. We'll have a conversation about boundaries. We'll kind of talk about all that nitty gritty stuff, and then we'll have a brief conversation about, okay, what should we do? Here's some ideas. Do you like them? And we kind of get it done. So the videos themselves for OnlyFans, that's probably the quickest amount of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long.
Yeah.
But the social media content, that takes a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. Do you find like, so obviously, you know, for myself, I think it would be like, do you ever struggle? So obviously, you know, you got these collaborations, these girls coming over, you know, working with them. What is sort of your love life and sort of your relationships outside? Do they sort of get affected by that sort of stuff, or like do you just sort of right now are you sort of prioritizing yourself instead of that, or how does that sort of space go about?
It's a very hard one to navigate. So ideally, in the stage of my life right now, I would love to meet someone to share my life with.
Yeah.
You know, I just went to Thailand for a month and I was, you know, by myself. And I thought, fuck, this would be nice to take someone who I care about with me. But at the same time, I'm very focused on growing myself and my business, and I'm trying to work towards an exit plan so I can stop filming, doing the physically filming, which that could take a year, 2 years. I'm not sure yet, but it takes time and effort to get into that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, this does affect my love life a fair bit. Girls aren't exactly lining up to date me.
It would be hard
for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I'm very self-aware, so I know. I'm not ignorant about it. But it does kill the confidence a little bit when I try.
Yeah, if you found someone you may like or something like that.
Sometimes, I might think a girl is really cute. I might think she's got a good personality and I would love to take her on a date, but then I start thinking in my head, I'm like,
oh, she's not going to want to do it.
She's not going to want to do it, yeah. I mean, I'm a porn star.
Yeah, it makes it hard for sure.
Yeah.
This is a bit of a juicier sort of question. Do you still have sex for pleasure outside of work?
Yeah, 100%. Not a lot, but I crave it, yeah. Because most of what I have is only filming.
Yeah.
So I get to the point where I'm just like, I don't...
That's what I was kind of going to get at. Is I think, I don't know how often you're filming, but does that get in the way of wanting to have your own personal sex life?
Yeah. So it doesn't get in the way of it. It just makes me want it more.
Yeah, right.
Because the filming is all I'm getting.
Yeah.
So, and with the filming, it's so orchestrated. There's no intimacy. It's not...
Yeah.
Not genuine.
Yeah.
That's
sort of chemistry.
Yeah. And I want that, bit of chase kind of thing. I want, be having a drink and flirting and talking and thinking in my head, I want to make that first move, and that hold off for a bit, and have that feeling I'm excited to make that first move.
Yeah, 100%.
But with filming, you don't have that. Yeah.
It's all planned out before anything even happens.
Yeah. And so with your, so obviously I go to Good Life, same as you. I see you there pretty much every time I'm there when I go in the mornings.
Yeah.
You have a big sort of focus on sort of physical and mental health now, is that one of your
priorities? So first thing I wake up around 4 a.m. every day, and I do a bit of work, and then I'm excited to go to the gym. I can't wait to have my pre-workout, and I just want to get there.
Yeah.
Probably my favourite part of the day, and I don't wear earphones, nothing. I just want to get in there, just want to do it.
Get after it and train.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And do you have sort of is that your routine every single day, and do you have other things you do? Like Mitch, we were lucky enough with our first guest to go on his sort of morning routine where we sort of go for a walk, do some breath work, meditation, train, all that sort of stuff. Do you have a specific thing you do every day? Or obviously, because a lot of people struggle to get to the gym, let alone every day. How do you sort of navigate that? And do you have any things that, works for you to sort of get that all done?
Yep. So generally I wake up between 4:30 every day, but I naturally wake up. I don't like alarms. So I wake up, and first thing I do, I get on my phone and I do a bit of work for roughly an hour. And then I'll quickly tidy the house because I don't want to leave the house untidy. I'll have my pre-workout, shower, and then I'm at the gym, roughly 5:30, 6 a.m. Train for about an hour, do the stepper for 10 minutes before I leave, and then straight to a cafe. So a cafe has to be every day after the gym. Coffee, breakfast, juice.
Do you do a lot of this solo, or do you go with friends or?
Always solo, yeah. Sorry, occasionally I do catch up with friends for breakfast. But most of the time solo, yeah.
How do you find that? Do you sort of like your sort of alone time by yourself? Do you find sort of comfort in that? Because a lot of people I know sort of would struggle to say, go to breakfast by themselves, or go to the movies by themselves or something like that. Do you enjoy that time by yourself? And is there a reason to do it by yourself, not with other people?
For breakfast, it's just part of my, I can't start my day without a cafe, so I'm kind of just used to doing that now. But I wouldn't go to lunch or dinner by myself.
Right.
So that, but brekkie, I don't know why, I just feel like brekkie is an acceptable thing to do alone.
I'm comfortable with doing that as well. I think bit of time to reflect, think about what I'm doing for the day. But I think some people would be uncomfortable sitting by themselves having brekkie, but I'm the same. I think it's good.
I love it.
It's like my split. So it's okay, my house is tidy. I replied to all my messages, and work's kind of ready to start for the day. I've been to the gym. I've already had 2 protein shakes, and now the cafe is the big gap between my work day. The transition.
think it's super important. I find like, so I'll sort of, my days can be like the last sort of 1 or 2 years I've been doing sort of 12 to 16 hour days every single day, 7 days a week. It's been insane, especially lately.
Yeah.
But I find like the time where I have sort of those moments to say like between jobs or something like that, to go eat or go for a walk or something, that time where you sort of by yourself and alone with your thoughts is the time I actually, you know, I think about the future and sort of plan ahead and think, all right, you know, I'm working so much, this is an end goal, what can I do next sort of thing, how am I going to navigate this, how am I going to go from sort of, I guess, the self-employed to sort of more business route. Do you sort of plan a lot of that sort of stuff when you're sort of alone and in those sort of times as well?
Actually, while I'm driving in the car, because obviously I drive around places all the time, and I don't listen to music while I drive. I just think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I just think a lot while I drive.
Yeah, I find
people get in my car, I got no music on. They're like, "Do you set
there
music?"
awkward. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you wouldn't understand. Yeah, sometimes it is good. And I find I used to went through this phase where the first thing I do when I wake up, I just hated silence. I just get up Spotify, press play, I have music all day, podcasts all day, and sort of like not necessarily like educational podcasts, but just sort of just to fill the space because I didn't like
the silence.
I spent a lot of time. Obviously, I'm working, seeing people, but I get up. My morning routine's very, I guess, alone. Driving's very alone. I didn't like that sort of like the silence. Whereas now I've sort of tried to embrace it a bit more and do a little bit more like you do.
Thoughts a bit more.
Be intentional. Yeah, got to like, not that it sort of sounds like a serious problem, but like I'd have, you know, music with me in the shower, carrying my phone everywhere, always just feeling that silence. And I didn't really notice it. Obviously I was still alone, but I never had that time to sort of put actual thoughts and sort of focus on, all right, you know, be intentional with my thoughts because I was just feeling the silence with sort of music and whatever I could.
It's very understandable what you're saying too. So I was actually lucky to go to jail for that exact reason because in jail you're with your thoughts a lot. And I wouldn't have been able to change mentally into a better person if it wasn't for that amount of time I had with my own thoughts in jail.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's actually really important, I think, to have that alone time and
get comfortable.
Actually think,
thoughts. Yeah, 100%. No, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And so we're here now. What so you've been through sort of, I guess, a lot of sort of what got you here and sort of what you're focusing on now. In the future, sort of, you mentioned you will sort of only want to film for another year or two. Do you have much planned out in terms of like after that? What you want to sort of go into and how that sort of looks? Have you mapped how far ahead? Have you sort of set goals for?
Yeah, so I haven't been mapping a lot, but currently I've got an online adult shop website ready to go.
Yeah, like e-com sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm doing an e-commerce course right now.
Yeah, cool.
So the e-commerce space is probably what I want to get into.
Yeah.
And then also in the middle of writing up a structure for my own OnlyFans agency as well.
Oh yeah, cool.
Because one thing OnlyFans has taught me is really how to market.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've got a marketing degree now.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
For sure. I feel like you learn a lot because I did marketing at uni. I literally have a marketing degree.
Yeah.
And you learn so much more on the job. Like all the books and sort of the methods of thinking you learn in uni is great, but actually doing it, sort of building something is so much more valuable.
Yeah.
Like you've done, It's like, what's the actual bread and butter? How do you do this? How do you build that? Instead of just learning the framework.
Yeah. Well, man, sometimes I sit back and I'm like, how the fuck did I even get to where I am? You know, but I just had my personal Instagram. I wasn't care about social media. I didn't care about I knew nothing about marketing. I think my social media following was like 2,000 on my personal page. And now I have all these other platforms and like, you know, bigger followings and, you know, get really good views on different platforms. I'm like, fucking hell, I've done it right.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm getting somewhere.
That's right. And so you're focusing on what's the sort of, I've heard the term OnlyFans agency. What does that consist of?
So basically, if you had an OnlyFans page, I would come over and I would basically run that page for you, help you with marketing, help you build that page.
That's like talking to people.
So get chatters and they'll reply to you, and really just make you make more money, and then I take a percentage of that.
Yeah, right. Do you see with OnlyFans? Do you think at all? How do you think the sort of OnlyFans space is going to sort of continue on, sort of in the next year, 5 years, 10 years? Do you think it'll still be as big as it is now, or do you think it'll drop off? Or?
Yeah. The only reason it will ever go away is if the banks put too much pressure on there. So they nearly got rid of porn just because of the banks.
Yeah, it was about a year ago. But I remember that.
Yeah. But then the banks, changed their tune. They're like, okay, look, you can keep it, blah blah blah. But as long as the sex industry is never going to go away, whereas OnlyFans are another platform, and there's 500 other platforms.
Yeah, for sure. So just shifting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it'll. Yeah. I think in 10 years it'll just be bigger and bigger.
When you first started OnlyFans, what sort of money were you making the first 2 or 3 months when you started, compared to where you're at sort of now?
Like my first month I made $23.
Whoa.
My second month I made $99.
That's all right.
My third I think was like 200 and something. I think my third or fourth month jumped up to like 500. Then 3,000, then 9,000, and like 13,000 and 20,000. Just kept jumping up.
Was there anything in particular that made it sort of, because that's a pretty big jump. Is there anything you did in particular
just
to sort of
consistency?
Yeah, so I learnt the value of exposure. Exposure past your following. So meaning reels and TikToks and I used to do live webcamming just to get people to see me.
Yeah.
So, really I just learned that the more people that can see me, the more money I can make.
Yeah, and you just focus on that, just getting as many eyes on you as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Oh, that's cool. So can we talk now, roughly what sort of money can we be roughly seeing in a monthly turnover for yourself?
In monthly turnover, it can be...
varies a lot?
Yeah, it can vary a fair bit. It depends like what I'm doing. It can be anywhere between 30, 50.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Would 50 be your biggest month?
Nah, my biggest was 65, I think. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hectic. I'm in the wrong industry.
Think about that though, going from 2 years ago, you started doing this, the first month you made $100 or whatever it was. And 2 years later you're doing numbers like that. It's crazy. It just proves, doesn't matter what industry you're in, consistency, discipline, and just learning the industry, growing with the industry. You're obviously full on with your marketing.
Yeah.
You plan all your videos and your social medias.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's the same with every business.
Systems and structures, I've pretty much made the same benchline. I've pretty much made the same benchline income for the past 15 months, and that's because I've worked out a good system and structure.
Yeah.
I've got so many social media accounts. I've got a full-time PA that works for me out of an office in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I've just got everything nutted out so well now that, I'm just...
You got your systems in place.
Yeah.
That's everything just keeps rolling.
When you had those, I think, because a lot of people, whether you start OnlyFans or landscaping business or pool cleaning, I think that initial sort of when you quit your job and you're sort of going to go out on your own, a lot of people do have a similar situation to that where they might only get one job or no jobs, or they might have the sort of first 6 months where they're just getting nothing. You obviously persevered through that. So, you said your first month was 25, then 99, then it started to blow up. Did you have thoughts in that sort of first little period where have I made the right choice?
Yeah.
Or did you, and sort of why did you keep going?
So I had to battle a lot of negative self-talk, lots of self-doubt. I was borrowing money just so I could live.
Yeah.
Which was very embarrassing.
Yeah, and you just kept...
But again, fuck me, I was just embarrassed. I had to make this work.
Yeah.
To me, it was a last chance. It's fuck, if I can't even make this work, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't... I've already fucked my life that much. I want a really good life.
Yeah.
So...
You're happy to do whatever it took kind of thing.
Yeah. Within the law now, obviously.
You've already exploited that way and you worked out.
It didn't work. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, wow.
It's all trial and error.
Yeah, cool. And sort of, so now you're where you are now, are you sort of satisfied where you are now, or you...
No.
Not at all?
No. So, not satisfied at all.
That's good.
And I think, people say, you should be proud and be really grateful. And there's of course, there's elements of little things I'm proud of, but I think if you're too proud or too grateful, it can build complacency.
Yeah,
100%.
It stops the growth. Yeah.
And so in my head, I have to do a lot of self-talk and be like, this is good, but it's not good enough. And that might sound like greedy or whatever, but it's like,
I know what you mean.
It's a motivating factor.
I'm the exact same.
The mentality is so important.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But again, I've also made a lot of financial mistakes too. Like I've made a lot of money, but I've fucking blown a lot of money too.
So that's how you learn though as well. Like,
that's
another thing I was going to ask is like, obviously you're making these good sort of money. You're doing anything like investment wise?
No.
just banking.
No, I'm still learning a lot of lessons to do with financial management and saving, and I'm learning all those lessons currently.
No, that's cool. That's good.
Yeah.
What else? So we're sort of touching a little bit about relationship side of things. Like for me, my purpose is like my family. I've got 2 young kids.
Yeah.
What's your purpose? What's your drive?
Money.
Yeah.
I just think, especially because, like I left school when I was 14, like on paper, I should be fucking homeless or something.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm like I kind of want to prove to myself that I can be someone.
Yeah.
And I want to be someone. I'm going to be someone. Yeah, I really want to be rich.
What did you say? Because obviously, like I'm the same. I agree with you. A lot of people would say, what most people would say to that is like, oh, do you think that's unhealthy or anything like that? Do you see that side of it, or are you just like so motivated and hungry?
No,
no,
it's not unhealthy because I live a good life.
Yeah.
I don't hurt anyone. I don't hurt myself. it just gives me that driving factor.
Yeah, 100%.
And you guys are probably the same. That sense of accomplishment you get when you get these wins with business, it fucking feels good.
Best
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather a business win any day of the week than get off my face partying or something like that.
So much better, and especially when you sort of add days and weeks and months and get that momentum flowing.
Yeah,
it's the best feeling when you're on just this winning streak. It is the best feeling.
Yeah,
getting after it in the gym, financially, everything. Nothing better.
Yeah, I definitely get off on that.
And I suppose so. 2 questions to sort of finish this off. If you could go back to sort of give your younger self, whether it was that 17-year-old at the party, some advice, or while you're in prison, or if you could go back and give your younger self, some advice or anything you would say, what would you say to sort of that person?
Don't take drugs.
Don't take drugs.
Yeah, 100%. I've been drug free now for 8 years, and if I could go back, I would never touch a drug ever again in my life.
Yeah, wow, powerful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else?
I think that's all.
Awesome. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on.
There's
Really
definitely a lot of
Thanks
valuable content, and I hope some people learn some of your tricks.
Cool.
Tricks of the trade.
Yes.